All right, what's up, everybody? So, talking with a couple people about what I do as a warm up. I joke and say it's roll around on the ground, but this is going to be kind of what I do movement prep every day, specifically for a lower body day, even though I've got an upper body day today predominantly. I'm going to kind of take you through that stuff. Me personally, I've got, I always want to keep my ankle mobility there, as well as my low back is what I mainly have problems with. But you'll see me do stuff for hips, stuff for core, stuff for my ankles. And it's different every day. So we're gonna say this is part one. I'm gonna kind of roll through it so you can kind of do this with me. I have no idea how long this will take. There's some days that it goes a little quicker, depending on how I feel. I kind of move from one thing to the next. I don't really have a set rep, rhyme, or reason to everything. I just try to keep moving in some different ways. But I'll probably post a couple of different these. I'll just call it warm up one. As a joke, roll around on the ground, whatever you want to call it. So we're gonna have a start. First thing I do, I pretty much plop down, and I normally do these without my shoes as much as I can. I'm gonna sit on my ankles, just trying to hit that ankle plantar flexion here. So pushing the toes down. So if you want, you can lean back on your hands, pull your knees up. You'll get a little bit more of a stretch. For me, I kind of just chill and sit here. As you saw when I was talking just a minute ago, just kind of sitting on it. So I kind of try to think in my head, starting from the top or from the bottom up, as well as, I'm not going to use a massage gun today to do through my RPR stuff and hitting stuff like that. So we're going to just kind of skip that stuff. I do have a little pad here that I'll normally pull out for my knees because this floor is pretty hard. Just get any sort of cushion. I've got problems with the knee. So after working the tops of my feet there, I rotate my feet over. And all I do is I'm sitting, I'm working on stretching out the bottoms of my feet, big toes. And then what I'll do is I'll kind of just pick my knees up and put some pressure and kind of rotate side to side, kind of moving my feet, heels around, trying to feel that stretch in the bottom of my big toes. So you'll see here if I face you. Picking up and just kind of move a little bit, kind of shift back and forth. From here, since I'm already on all fours, I'm going to go ahead and start cat cows, whatever people call these. But I'm just going to exhale and round up as high as I can, nice and relaxed. And then breathe in as I arch down. When I round up, I try to think about doing it one segment at a time, starting my low back and working my way all the way up. So starting with the hips, rotating as much as I can, and then undoing the hips and then all the way back down. And now what I'll do this time is I'll round up and then kind of rock back and forth. And typically when I push back, I tend to feel this in my low back a little bit more in certain places. I'll kind of just shift a little bit, but sitting and I feel a pretty good stretch there. So then I'll try rounding in that and see if I can't move a little bit better there. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and pull this pad under me. My knees are bothering me a little bit today. We're gonna go into a bird dog. So alternate arm, opposite leg, extending out, hold it for about a 5 count. Come back in, you can do all on the same arm. Try not to have any movement through the core, or you can alternate. So just alternate back and forth. I normally don't count. I do just try to see, can I mentally feel my back muscles activating? Can I feel my core bracing, maintaining stability? Very little movement in my body. And then what I'll do is I'll kind of test it and go a little more advanced with it. And I'll extend out and then I draw a box and see if I can't make sure that I stay nice and tight doing that box on each side. This is a little bit more advanced. You don't have to do this. Do I feel myself moving, arching more, whatever? Can I stay stable? All right, now a little bit for me, we're just gonna rotate, lean forward, stretching out the wrists. So I hit a little bit of everything depending on what I'm gonna get into the day. Actually, predominantly a lower body day. Today is actually an upper body day, but I'm gonna do some jumping. And then I always like to stretch out my wrists a little bit, and I've got pretty poor wrist flexibility. Comes from throwing that shot put a lot. It bothers my right wrist. So I just turn my hands, they're facing out, they're not even facing backwards, and I still get a good stretch here and play around with that. Now, since it is an upper body day, we'll go ahead and throw not some cat camels, but this is just gonna be a shoulder protract, retract. Just trying to move the shoulder blades a little bit. We'll sit back on our heels and go to my elbows. This is for a T-spine rotation. Put my hand on my head, open up as far as I can, back down, Typically do about 5 reps here. And we'll switch sides. So the reason I like to sit back on my hips is it allows me to kind of more stabilize that lower back and really work into just the upper back opening up. And like I said, this stuff's variable. I'll tend to do more on one day versus another depending on how I'm feeling. Now I'm gonna come off my, I have more I'm gonna do here in the quadruped, but I'm gonna rotate over. The next thing we're gonna do is what's called a McGill crunch. Put my hands under my low back. I'm gonna have one knee up, one leg flat, pick my elbows up. I'm just gonna lift my shoulders off the ground enough till, like a scale, if we're under my shoulders, red 0. I'm just gonna hold here. I'm gonna hold this for about a 10 count, and then go down, and I'm gonna switch my legs, and then lift back up again. So this is just trying to get ab activation. I'm really not trying to do a really hard crunch or anything like that. My hands under my low back are to try to maintain that spinal posture while getting ab activation. Once again, it just depends on the day how I feel. If I feel like I'm getting good activation, the more you do it, the more you'll be able to kind of feel yourself out. You could start with, let's say, 5 reps, 10 reps each side, holding for a 10 count. So I'll come out of that. I'm gonna go into low back rotations is what I call them. So I'm gonna put my feet together, knees kind of stay together, arms out to the side, and just rock side to side. I really love this one. I really feel it stretching. Right now my right low back's been a little tight. It cramped up on me a couple days ago. Like I said, I just rock until I feel like I feel better here. Until I feel like things are moving a little better. And then I pick my knees up and I go right to a rocking side to side with the feet off the ground. And this one you tend to feel like you're crawling towards your feet a little bit with your body. That's fine, we'll readjust. That's actually feeling pretty good today. So now come up, doing that same stretch. Left knee up across, just rotating, getting a good stretch. If you want, you can pull this knee down with your hand. What I'll do with my back hand is I can grab my ribs and pull my ribs down so I kind of can pull and rotate myself in that stretch a little bit. I'll turn so you can kind of see how I got that hand pulling. And we'll switch sides. So this already is, 7-8 minutes in. I normally give myself 15-20 minutes with this stuff. I've gotten to the point where feeling good, moving good is more important than training stupid heavy. And I'm getting some of my core work done and out of the way. So next up, I'm gonna go to a dead bug. Back flat on the ground, knees up 90 degrees, arms up. Opposite arm, opposite leg, extending out. Low back stays planted in the ground, nothing moves but the arm and leg. You can kind of give yourself a little bit of an assessment here. For me, I feel like my left hip flexor is tight. That'd be this one. Alternate out. So I know that I'll probably spend a little more time. I can feel that left hip flexor. I'll spend a little more time working on that in a minute. Keep the low back into the ground, nice and controlled. If this is too difficult, you can just drop the heel down, coming back up, instead of having to extend the leg. I don't even have to use the arms. So from there, we're gonna go to a side plank, and I like to go ahead and do just one per side, and I'm gonna lift my top leg. So plank up, lift the top leg, hold there. Now don't hold it long, just trying to see how things are feeling. About a 10 count, roll to the other side. Back down. I'm gonna try to keep this one, we're at 9:33, we'll be under 15. So like I said, now I'm back in all fours. What I'm gonna do here is the downward dog. So I'm gonna push up, trying to get my heels to the ground if I can. And I've always been pretty tight here. Straighten the legs, heels towards the ground, pushing your chest through. For me, I feel this more in my calves and the back of my knees because my calves and hamstrings are tight. I want to be able to get better where my heels are planted on the ground firmly. I can really push my chest through. You can raise your hands up on a block to get those heels down sometimes. So I kind of just squat down into it. You can kind of push up and down on that if you want. But I blanked. Oh, my next one would be from there, kind of step out to what's called world's greatest stretch. I'm going to put my knee down on this one. So a basic hip flexor stretch. Squeezing this butt cheek before I push into the stretch, kind of rotating this hip, then pushing into it. Thinking about squeezing that butt, opening the front of this hip. You can reach up and back if you want. I don't feel a ton out of doing that. But what I am going to do is go here, push forward a little more, relax my stretch, push into my groin, open up a little bit, and then rotate. Here, first thing I'm going to do is pick up, squeeze this left butt. Like I said, left hip flexors bother me a little bit. So I'll make sure this is feeling all right. Got to jump today, and I got kind of low ceilings at the firehouse in this firehouse, so we might have to go out in the bay. Try to push forward. Some people aren't believers of static stretching prior to their workout. I don't do a lot, but I'm trying to, in my mind, just grease the groove, having things feel good. So like, I can sit here and do a quick hamstring stretch if I feel it. Next what I'm gonna do is go to that same straight hip flexor stretch. I'm gonna turn that back leg 90 degrees, and now I'm gonna rock side to side. And what I'm gonna try to do is open this front knee by squeezing the glute, and then pushing my hips towards that knee with the back glute. Squeeze the glutes. I'll sometimes feel in the groins. How do my groins feel? Here. And right now, so far, this is feeling pretty good today. The other day, this exact side was really tight. So we'll switch sides. Squeezing. And seeing this one's a little tighter today. And it kind of just depends on what you do. And that's why I said, this doesn't have, like I said, make sure you're squeezing the butt cheek to open this knee. It doesn't have a right or wrong on how many sets or reps. You kind of just, if something feels tight, maybe work on it a little bit longer. All right, last couple we'll do, I kind of push up, stay bent over, get my squat stance, drop my butt down. You kind of pull on your toes if you want, really pull my butt down, reach my arms up like I'm doing a snatch, butt high. Feel the hamstrings, butt down, open the knees. You can even do one arm at a time. Trying to open up more, little T-spine. And then I'll go into sometimes something simple as today. I know that the back of my knees and hamstrings have been a little tight. So I'm gonna do a one leg RDL, holding. Then I'll move one arm out to the side. It starts your balance off by shifting your weight. You can sometimes hold a dumbbell and just holding this position. I'll turn and I'll do it sideways on this leg. Just holding this position as best I can. See, I put my toe down, just holding here. Challenge myself a little bit, get things woken up. That's why I also like to be barefoot on these, so I can feel my feet in the ground a little bit better. And then for me, I'm gonna go ahead and find something to hold on to do my hip airplanes. So standing on one leg, opening up, and then really closing back down as far as I can. Open up. Now you can do these without holding on, but I'm a big fan of holding on. Make sure I'm feeling more of a stretch because I did just work my balance a little bit. Make sure my low back feels good, ready to go. And that's gonna be it for today's warm up. This has just been a variation of what I'll do. Like I said, I'll throw some different ones in there. If you guys like these, let me know, give me a comment. And we'll try to bring you some variations of it because I do something a little bit different every day. Some days I'll do more glute stuff. Some days I'll do more core work. Some days I'll do more stretching than what I did. So let me know if you like it, give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment, and we'll keep bringing them.